Hey guys, how are you doing? It's Cam back at you again. Today I'm bringing you guys the answers to some of my most frequently asked questions about my guitar setup. I'm going to be talking about my Charvels today, the ones with the Floyd Roses flush with the body, the ones that are floating, and various other little preferences with regards to string gauge, action, etc. Let's go. Do I prefer my bridges floating or dive only? And to be honest, I don't mind either. They do have their advantages in the way of my playing. Just to begin, this is obviously a 2016 Charvel San Dimas, and the bridges come fully back routed as stock. They're really good. It's great for the subtle vibrato moments, which I absolutely adore to do in my playing sometimes, and it just feels good. I don't know, somehow for me personally, and I think just by circumstance because of the way the guitars are set up, the strings feel looser somehow and easier to bend and everything else. But problem with this is when you bend up, as easy as it may be, it sends the other strings out of tune because the bridge pulls the other strings slightly flat. So I've learned to adapt to it slightly, but it's never entirely perfect. Whereas the Super Stock SoCal you just saw me playing, the bridge for that came pseudo floating. I've tuned the guitar down since it was bought half a step, and now it is hard against the body, whereas before it was just slightly up. There's a tiniest bit of backplay, but now it's rock hard against the body. When you bend and do all these Zach Weil, those kind of things, it behaves just like a hardtail, which I really love. Also for me, I find it easier to change strings. When a guitar's got the bridge flush to the body, and when I say flush to the body I mean hard back, I mean so it's dive only. What's really good is you can put detuners on it, which if you like to play drop D, which is really good. And also when it comes to the setup, I find it a lot easier to change strings. It's probably just because it's what I'm used to. I can, you're probably asking for trouble, but it's never given me any problems. With a bridge that's flush to the body, I take all the strings off and then put them all on one by one. Whereas with a floating bridge, to stop the bridge going hard back, what we do is we ram a little bit of cloth underneath the bridge here, and then change the strings one at a time. Seems a bit crazy. It seems to vary quite a bit, but the way we do it most is we leave the high E on, and then take all the others off, and then do them one by one, and finish with the high E. So it's a bit of a fiddly process, but we've never had any problems with it. Overall, my personal preference is dive only, much less maintenance. How do I like my action? That's a question I get on every video, it seems. And I prefer, personally, a medium action, generally. I tend to find when I say a medium action, I know it's subjective, but you get some that are, take like a nylon string that we all know is super high. That's what I'd call high action. Then I'd call a typical stock Ibanez really low action. That's just my experience, and I'm trying to generalize it in a way that everyone can relate to. I prefer a medium action, so somewhere in the middle, perhaps a Strat kind of thing, a stock, because I can really get under the strings when it comes to bending. And also another cool thing about having the action raised a little bit is not only do you have all the coordination still for playing quickly, it forces you to push a little bit harder, so you're a little bit more confident when it comes to fretting chords, and with various legato ideas, it boosts your left hand strength. It allows me to do slide. I love playing slide when the camera's off, and it's going to be one of my next musical ventures, I think, to get much better at slide playing and trying to incorporate it into as many tunes as I can. I actually included it as one of the main hooks in one of my tunes called Crystal Methodist, which you can check out on the channel. Really cool. Shameless plug there, but there we go. One last thing I'd like to mention is I get tons of comments, as I say, about my string gauge and what my preferences are with that. I've always used, well, for the longest time I used Ernie Ball 9-42, but now I'm strictly on Elixir Optiwebs. And for all of my guitars, apart from one, I use 9-42 gauge. It's just what I grew up on, and I've never had a problem with it. And also, it's just ideal for the tunings I like to use for a standard half a step. And as I say, I use, for one other guitar, I use 10-46, and that's my white Charvel SoCal with EMGs. And that's because that guitar's tuned down a whole step and requires a little bit more tightness, because the strings are still slinky, when they're in that tuning, but they're not totally and utterly floppy like it would be with 9s, because it needs a bit of tightness for the rhythm and stuff that I like to do with it. It's basically my Gus G machine, that guitar. But apart from that, those are my questions answered about my guitar setup. Thanks very much for stopping by. Please check out some of my other lessons. There will be some on the screen now that you should get your teeth into. See you soon. Bye bye.